Uh, Lately, I've been thinking a lot about hobbies. Not just because I've had more time lately, but because I've started getting back into things that I genuinely enjoy. And that could be collecting cards, it could be playing video games, playing card games, going to the gym, playing some sport, and it could be making music as well, and starting this YouTube channel. And the more I've thought about it, the more I've realized that I don't think hobbies are just hobbies. I actually think they're quietly creating the person you become or are becoming. Now, we think of hobbies are just for fun, and I think they can be for fun. When someone asks you, what are your hobbies? Most people answer with, um, things they do to relax. Gaming, fishing, photography, running, reading. I don't think running's relaxing. Well, for me, running's not relaxing. I'm sure it is for some people. And look, whatever it is, I think we underestimate what hobbies are actually doing for us. I think you're training your brain. I think because every hour you spend doing something, whatever hobby it is, it ends up training your brain, developing new habits, new skills. You're becoming a different person, and you're becoming someone really, whether you realize it or not. And for me, losing my job changed something. When I lost my job, for the first time in years, I had time. Time I hadn't had since I was younger. And naturally, I didn't spend all that time applying for jobs. I started coming back to things I loved. I picked up trading card games. I started playing a few video games, spent a bit more time at the gym. I started making music and finally started this YouTube channel, which I've been thinking about for a while. And at first, I thought I was just filling in time, but then I've realized these weren't distractions. They were building parts of me that I'd forgotten about. And think about gaming. Take gaming for example, right? People love to say gaming is a waste of time. Sometimes it probably can be. It definitely can be. But gaming has taught me so much more, whether it's problem solving, working with people, learning from failure, thinking strategically, being patient, even creatively. And ultimately, some of my favorite memories growing up were from gaming. Not because I was staring at a screen, but because of the friendships I've made and I continue to make. The laughs, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the stories, the smack talking, the banter. That's good fun. Gaming in an odd way didn't just entertain me, but it shaped me to who I am today. The next hobby for me was trading cards, and I love collecting cards. I love collecting in general. And to most people, it's probably just shiny cardboard or colorful cardboard, and it really is. But for me, it's taught me a bit of patience, some discipline, some delayed gratification, some budgeting, learning about different markets and how human psychology work with markets, researching, a bit of hustle, because it can be a bit of a side hustle when you try to, collect cards and try to fund your own collection as well by selling and buying. And it's funny because when you're building a collection, you're also learning consistency without even realizing it. I've also, which ties to card games, which ties to collecting cards, I've played a bit of card games. I played Pokemon in the past, and I'm currently playing Riftbound. And ultimately, whatever game you're into, for me, it's Riftbound. They're more than cards. It's a lot about decision making and planning forward and trying to strategize your next moves. It's almost like chess in a way, where you got to think about the bigger picture, think about steps ahead, and that's quite fun. It's about reading people, adapting in different situations, planning. What I said before, like planning several turns ahead. and losing gracefully, which I don't always do, but it is good fun, and winning humbly as well, and the social aspect and meeting new people and putting yourself in different circles. I think that's quite important. That's something I'm learning about my hobbies and trying to I guess extract everything I can out of it whilst enjoying it at the same time. And some of the best conversations I've had have happened across the table with one of my best mates, and it's just good fun. It's something to do and something we can just talk about life over whilst we're playing a game, and most of the time I lose. The next thing is sports in the gym, and for me, sport and the gym have probably taught me the biggest lessons, and it's discipline, showing up when you don't feel like it. And look, I'm no David Goggins. I have some lazy days as well, but for the most part, I think it's a lot of discipline in there. Being a part of a team, losing, winning, getting back up, understanding the results come from consistency, not just these one-off highs or lows. And then getting back up, right? It's not just motivation. The gym doesn't care if you're motivated or not. The soccer field, the basketball court, the football field doesn't care either. They both reward the same thing, and it's just showing up and being consistent. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson. And I've been going to the gym since I was, I think, 15. And I think there's a lot of great life lessons from it. And, I talk about the discipline and showing up aspect. One, I guess, variable that I've learned from going to the gym is meal prepping. I think not many people know how to cook these days, and I don't think it's too difficult. You don't have to cook a 5-course meal or something that tastes absolutely delicious, but meal prepping and understanding how to plan out the week for groceries and food and being structured in that way, I think that's a huge life lesson for me that yielded from the gym. But ultimately, after thinking about all these hobbies over the last couple of days, I think that's when it all just hit me. Something just clicked in my mind. Maybe hobbies aren't about passing time. Maybe they're about building character. And think about it, right? Someone who spends 10 years reading becomes different from someone who spends 10 years playing music. Who becomes different from someone who spends 10 years of coaching kids? Or if you spend 10 years of traveling, or you spend 10 years on XYZ hobby, you essentially become a different person. But because each one of them trains a different part of you, and I think that's probably the second layer to this, it's important to have a range of different hobbies. And it's tough, like, don't get me wrong, I find it difficult to put myself out there and trying new things and failing new things. That's never easy, and it's probably never going to be easy. But the hardest task is starting. So once you start, then I think you build some good momentum moving forward. So look, instead of asking what hobby should you start or what hobby should I start, maybe we should ask, who do I want to become? If I want more confidence, maybe I should do more public speaking. If you want more discipline, maybe I should train for a marathon. If you want more creativity, maybe I should learn music. If you want to be more patient, maybe you should start collecting something. And I think you can extract different layers from different hobbies. And I'm open to hear anyone else's ideas, because sometimes having a hobby as a human isn't just about the hobby. It's the lessons you can take from it, and the entertainment as well. And I think you have to enjoy it. That's the other 50% of this equation. But look, my biggest realization is that I think for a long time, I believed my career was the biggest thing shaping me. And it shaped a big part of me. But looking back, some of my biggest life lessons didn't come from work. They came from things I chose to do when nobody was paying me, gaming, sports, the gym, collecting cards, making music, creating videos. Those are the things that quietly built part of who I am today. So look, if you're feeling a little stuck lately, you're not alone. I'm there too. Or maybe you've lost a bit of yourself over the years. Maybe don't just look for another job or another goal or another distraction, which I'm very good at. Maybe go back to something you loved. And it could be something when you were a kid growing up. That's why I love Pokemon cards. Or something that you've always wanted to try, whether it's playing a new instrument, maybe it's going to a restaurant that you've always wanted to try and they do, I don't know, tacos, and then you want to try every single taco place in the city you're at, and it gives you something to chase. And that's a fun story as well, actually. But ultimately, because I genuinely believe that your hobbies don't just fill your weekends, and I don't think they should just fill your weekends. They quietly shape the person you'll become, and maybe that's why it's so important. But look, that's kind of my ramble for the day. That's something to think about, something I've been personally thinking about it, and I'd love to know, right? I'd love to know what's one hobby for you that's changed your life, that you've taken or extracted some particular lessons that's helped you through other aspects of life. I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Please like or subscribe, and I appreciate your time today. See ya.